Hi, everybody. My name is Dr. Lainey Wright. You can call me Dr. Wright, Lainey Wright, Lainey, Aunt Lainey, as some people call me. But I'm going to be your professor for Math 80 this semester. And I wanted to give you guys a look ahead of time of what our 80 class is going to look like. All right, so when we get into the class, over here on the left, remember, is the inbox for Canvas, and that's the best way to reach me. And on the left-hand side is your navigation pane to all the different places in our class. Honestly, the only two that you'll use, well, three, it's probably home, syllabus, and grades. And I'll show you why. Let's take a look at the syllabus page first. Here you're going to find a PDF version of our syllabus, which I'll also include in this email. But I also put it in tabs, a quick place where you can find our course details, the materials you need, and the assignment, schedule, grades, policies, and extra student support. At the very bottom of this page is sort of a course summary, which will show everything that's due by a certain date. Notice you have a few things due on Thursday of the first week of class, but most assignments will be due on Sundays. One of the things I wanted to point out to you is this discussion board, for example, is an icebreaker. You can start on it right away. But notice your post is due Thursday the 11th, and so that's when it shows up in the due date. But you're also supposed to reply to your peers, and that one is due the next Sunday, 21st. So pay close attention to those due dates, because sometimes the only due date that will show up is going to be the first one when the post is due, but don't forget to reply. And I'll show you how that shows up in the modules here in a second. If you go to the home page, this is really going to be the main place that you're going to go to find our work. Any announcements that I make will be posted up here. So it'll be like the last three announcements they'll post, and I'll post this video here as well. You have a nice to-do column here on the right of upcoming assignments that are due. And again, for the discussion boards, it only shows the first due date. In our first module is orientation. And underneath each assignment, it will tell you whether you need to just view and take a look at it, or if you need to actually contribute to that page. And there'll be nice little check marks over here. For example, if I take a look at the getting started page, what to expect in week 1, important information, what is due, and I go back to my home page, it will mark a nice little green check mark to say, yes, I've opened that page and I've viewed it. Up here at complete all items, it will tell you whether or not you've started it or have finished it. So the red line there means I've looked at some of them, but I haven't finished everything. So again, notice down here, I've added 2 assignments in the orientation. These are assignments that you can start ahead of time if you want. One is a discussion board icebreaker. The instructions are there. Just click on the link. And the other one is your first quiz, which is really an introduction to My Open Math, which we call MOM. And that's where you're going to be doing your homework assignments. So this assignment here is just how to input fractions and square roots and certain answers that you're going to have in math. The next module is office hours. So I have office hours Mondays and Wednesdays from 12 to 1. And Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 to 3. Again, these do not start until the official first week of class, February 8th, I believe it is. And you can click on this link anytime, and I will be on the other end on a Zoom video conference call, so I can help answer any homework questions or any lesson questions that you might have during those times. If those times do not work for you, just let me know, and we can schedule a one-on-one appointment. Week 0 is just what it says, prerequisite material. It's optional, but it's a great review of some of the basics. So this section will cover things like adding integers, multiplying and dividing integers, how to work with fractions, grouping symbols, and certain properties of algebra, that if it's been a while, it would be a nice review, and you can start on those ahead of time. Now to the nitty gritty here at week 1. It officially doesn't start until the 8th, but I'm going to open all of the weeks about 2 days earlier, like on a Saturday, for those of you that have more free time on weekends than you do during the weeks. But I will lock all the weeks that we're not working with yet. So you'll see this little lock here. This one's going to be open. And so I'll open all of those the Saturday before. Every week is structured about the same. At the very top, there's a start here that I want you to view, and it just tells you what to expect that week. I went ahead and this week put quiz 1 in there again, just in case you didn't do it in the orientation module. But once you do it, you should still have a check mark there. Then we're going to list any discussion boards. Most week you will have 2 discussion boards listed. The first one will be one that's graded. So it will have a due date and it will have points attached, and it will tell you that you need to contribute. But again, pay attention to the label up top, because it will tell you when your post is due, but also later you're going to have your replies due the next week. Your second discussion board is just a place for us to put any homework questions or questions that we have about the lessons, and we can help each other out. I love it when students help students. Sometimes you have better answers to their questions than I do. So let's, make it a team. Let's work out and help each other out. But I'll be looking at those as well to answer questions that you may have. Then every chapter is going to start with the chapter objectives, what you're supposed to be learning that week, and also a copy of the textbook. And there's also a link to a workbook. You don't have to worry about the workbook unless there's certain extra problems you want to try. And I can even make a quick video of some of those problems if you'd like. But really, this is for the textbook. And then every section in that chapter will have its own little section here, where if we were to click on 1.1, verifying solutions. So when you get to this page, you'll have either start or resume. And you will have a video that you can watch to give you the lesson for the day. Up here underneath introduction and instructions, it also has some practice problems. So you can go to question 1 and then answer these questions to see if you understood the lesson. Now, it will tell you that it's 1 point, but these are not being graded. Those points are just to tell you how many questions there are for practice to make sure that you understood those lessons. But I do recommend them. Those that do them tend to do better than those that don't. So once you finish all the videos for that section, here's your homework listed below, homework for section 1.1. And notice this has a due date as well as points, and it tells you to submit. If it says submit, and it has a due date, or contribute and it has a due date, that means it's being graded. And then section 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And then again, we're starting a new chapter. So new objectives and another section of the textbook. And homework for each section. At the very bottom, you will find any quizzes. So notice quiz 1, Intro to Mom, is listed again, just so you don't miss it. But also the quiz for chapter 1 is listed here as well. And that's how each week is going to be listed. Notice in week 2, it's locked, but maybe you can see here where even though the discussion board has a due date of February 11th, I've put it in week 2 also because your replies are due this week. So I'm trying to give you every opportunity to not miss when an assignment is due. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. It's an online class, and what's obvious to one student may not be obvious to another. So that is where these discussion boards up here at the top, discussion board for week 1 assignments, that's what that's for as well. All right, I hope you guys enjoy the class. Again, if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to contact me. I look forward to working with you. Bye.